Now pay attention, 007. I've always tried to teach you two things. First, never let them see you bleed.
And the second?
Always have an escape plan.
This is Christopher Morales, That One Bond Guy. And today we're doing another episode of That One Bond Guy Meets. And we have someone you may have heard of on this week. I'm not sure if you heard of him. You know, David Zaritsky, if that name sounds familiar.
I don't recognize it.
Experience here today. I can't be more stoked to do this one. So thank you, Mr. Zaritsky, for joining me. How are you?
Great, but who the hell is Mr. Zaritsky? No, call me David. Seriously, that's awfully polite of you. Your parents did you right, but call me David.
All right, thanks. I'm glad you're joining us today, David. And I know you're extremely busy with not only prepping for the new movie, but also for events like Operation Snowfall. And that's, you have, what are some exciting things you're looking forward to, whether it's Bond related or not, coming up?
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? Yeah, there is a new movie coming out. There's that. I'm just looking forward to kind of getting together with friends and meeting new friends. This because you're doing this on your channel, which is why I wanted to come on. I think it's great that you're connecting people. And I think the Bond community is all about connection. So whether it's virtually like this, that's good. But what's even better is seeing people in person. Yeah. And even people that have disagreements or don't quite agree with the speculation, when they meet each other in person, just something happens and all that shields just start to lower. It's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to more of that. Yeah, and I agree with you. Once I started doing this, I was fairly new. I mean, at this point, if you guys have seen most of my videos, you've seen or have heard rather the story of how this all happened. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of new in the game, but I've been a Bond fan for years, and it really helped me through a time in high school where I was kind of lost. I didn't know exactly what to do or who I wanted to be. But when I got involved with James Bond, whether it's the clothing aspect, the charisma, the cars, I really felt a sense of belonging. And to have a community that feels the same exact way it's great because it's my time away from reality. I get to hang out with some really cool people. From the first video with Joe on to the last one I did with James Bond Aficionado, everyone has been so incredibly nice. And it's one of my favorite aspects about this whole hobby. I do this because, I love to, like you said, meet new people, whether they're abroad or they're here in the States. And for me, for example, I'm in California, so I'm on the other side of the country than you are, but I would love to start up a group over here on this side and then maybe eventually meet up with you guys who are on the East Coast and have one giant, huge U.S. group. That's kind of the goal for me. So I know upcoming for myself, I'd love to host some events if I have the support and all that. And I know summer's coming up, and I have a projector, so I was thinking about doing James Bond movie under the stars, popcorn, bring whoever. But that's future stuff. But well, I got to tell you something. So quick observations. So here's one of the things I really like about what you're doing. Number one, you're pretty fearless in the sense of you reach out to people and you say, come on my show. I think too many people kind of kick the can around and go, well, someday I'll do it, or maybe I'll go on YouTube, or maybe I'll start a channel, and they overthink it. They think it's a t-shirt, or they think it's a slogan or a logo. They think it's something that it's not. It literally is just a conversation, and you happen to put up a camera and two people have a conversation, and you at a very young age cracked that nut, whereas people much older than you, they kind of didn't get it. And I have to tell you you didn't ask for feedback, but I'm going to give you feedback.
I don't care. One thing. Well, I have no idea. This is for fun. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, if we were sitting at a pub, I'd say this to you too. The one thing I keep hearing from people is, oh, you should do the angle of, planes and flight because that's what you want to do. I kind of disagree. I think you have a much better angle of still focusing on the Bond lifestyle, but West Coast. So you've got a lot of West Coast James Bond fans, and they're literary fans. They're fans of the movie. I don't really know a lot of people or any that are focusing on the Bond lifestyle. You can do fun in the sun. You can do ocean sports. Think about California. You have this incredible environment. Holy cow. To me, that's your hook.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, because yeah, I'm kind of stuck. Everyone has their own thing that takes them away from that. They're different, and I'm kind of struggling trying to figure out what would be my little niche and what could I bring to the table. And now that you say that, that kind of sparks a couple ideas of mine, because I know I have San Francisco over here. I have, the coastline. I have so many things. I could do. I could do review of the Oliver Brown swim trunks in
Well, you're also you have celebrities. So I mean, what would be the harm in you reaching out to celebrities that have been in the Bond films, or producers, or people that work behind the scenes that live in your neck of the woods?
Mm-hmm.
Worst they could do is say no.
Right.
And by the way, the one thing I would say for you, because again, there's a lot of aspects I really like you're trying to find that unique value proposition, is be unique. So I'm going to say, like, when I looked at your about thing on your YouTube, it says living like Bond, one assignment at a time. That sounds awfully familiar, like living like Bond, one moment at a time.
Right.
Like, do your own thing, do your own sign out and your outro, like make it your own, because you clearly have a lot of creativity at a young age. I mean, by the time you're 30, you're going to be like a scary owner of like a country, pretty sure, but we'll see how it goes.
See how that goes. I mean,
sorry, I didn't mean to turn that around.
No. And it's great because people already recognize that. Literally, kind of a fun note, at my Starbucks that I work at, there's a bathroom code, and because of the laws, we're required to give it to everyone. And my manager asked me, "So, Chris, can you think of a bathroom code?" And I said, "I know exactly what I can do. 62007 is the bathroom code. 1962,
Nice.
The year Dr. No came out in 007. So everyone has that connection. There's people that get it, some people that don't, but people that get it, they light up and they get excited. Like James Bond. That's so cool. We love that. And then everyone points to me and be like, he did it, because I'm the designated James Bond. Everyone knows me as the guy who's like James Bond, and like it's really cool to do that. And like I've introduced my friends who, have no idea what it is, or I introduce people, to new Bond things, and they had no idea that, like different brands or like Billie Eilish that people are connected with is doing something Bond related. So they're like, let me check that out. So I love doing that. And I love introducing people to, because James Bond's not just someone who's a guy who saves the world with a gun or a super spy. There's so many aspects that we can relate to in all of our lives, really. But yeah, and I really appreciate the feedback, and this is one of the cool things that I love doing when I do these interviews, is so I could learn, and then we just get together. This is completely informal, and I just love talking about James Bond with everybody, and so
this is great.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, I was going to actually save a section to ask for advice towards the end, but we already got in, so I appreciate that. But for my first question, I would love to know, what was your first Bond experience? Something that just like snapped and like started everything.
So the thing that started what the Bond experience is today was probably when I was about 32 years old, and I was made a very young vice president of a company. Mm-hmm. And so I had a little bit more spending money, and I was excited, new title, new company, newfound money. And I remember I always loved Bond, and I had a couple of pieces. I used to collect a lot of movie memorabilia, all types: Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Blade, Judge Dredd. And I had a couple Bond pieces, but I really wanted to buy something that really meant something to me, that I could constantly have on me, not just in a cabinet. So I bought the watch from Tomorrow Never Dies, the Omega watch. And I remember buying it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at the price tag. What am I going to do? And, I married Danielle, who you've probably seen in some of the videos, and she was really supportive. She was like, you've got to treat yourself. Like, what is it for if you don't treat yourself? So I bought that watch, and that kicked it off, because once I had that watch, I was literally like doing the whole thing where you're constantly staring down, and suddenly you're escaping. You're having that little moment. And I love Tomorrow Never Dies. I love the action, and it brought me right back to the movie moment. So I could be in a very stressful situation. The world's colliding on me. How am I going to get out of this? And then suddenly I just look down and go, you know what? I've got a little piece of Bond traveling with me on this crazy journey. And then just the world opened up. I mean, literally from there, I'm just like, I wonder if I could get his glasses, and I'm wondering if I could capture this moment. And the more I realized, I'm like, I could really create surround sound of James Bond's lifestyle. I mean, he's got the best lifestyle. You don't want to be misogynistic and you don't want to be a murderer, but everything else is pretty damn good. So that's what started this whole snowball effect of living the lifestyle of Bond.
That's awesome. Yeah. I agree. You know, I completely agree with the whole watch thing. When I did my video, when I first got my 2 frugal Bond watches per se, and I got the 2 fossil models, I was just strolling through the mall and I saw them, and they were actually on sale too for $75, not Omega. They had a boutique there as well, and I got to actually try on the watch from Spectre, which was so cool just to try it on. But I got those because they look really similar, and I even got the bottoms engraved with the movie title and then my initials. And
oh, so cool.
So those 2 are probably my most favorite / most worn watches. And, you know, like you said in many of your videos, it's like an invisible Bond moment where, you know, you have it on. And whether I know mine, they're not the exact brands, but it's the whole look and the whole idea of it for me personally. And for where I'm at right now in life and money-wise and age-wise, it's perfect. It satisfies me, you know. And, you know, I will get to the goal one day. And that's kind of what motivates me to continue to study hard and continue to, you know, make sure I don't slack off in certain areas, because I have goals in life. Not only do I want to be able to enjoy the Bond lifestyle a little bit more, but I also want to make sure I'm there for my parents and be able to help them, you know, because they've given me a lot. I've been blessed with a lot, and to be able to give back in the latter part of their lives is another goal. But yeah, back to the watches, you know, they're a staple. They're something that's always been on Bond, and, you know, something we can all connect with. So
I think what happens is a lot of people will watch me in the Bond experience, and they'll see events and they'll see brands and they'll see suit fittings and things like that. And guilty, like I enjoy those moments. But what I really love is what you said, is that it honestly doesn't need to be the brand. If it creates an emotional connection, or if it creates that wonderful escape, because when you're done watching a movie, the movie's done. You don't have that escape any moment. What I love about people that kind of follow this Bond lifestyle is that you take it with you. You know, it travels with you. And honestly, it does not. I mean, you've seen probably some of my Frugal Bond videos. My whole point is that Bond lifestyle should be accessible no matter what your paycheck is. Even if you don't have a paycheck, you should be able to have that escape valve. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I think some people think like, oh, he's pushing the brand, and how am I going to afford a $500? Like I did watch your Spectre turtleneck review, and I thought it was great, because one of the things that you did was you captured those descriptors and details of what the NPL one was. And you even said like, hey, if you can get the NPL, you get the NPL. But you know what? I'm a student, can't get it. This is why I like this. And it captured these 4 different aspects. That's so freaking intelligent. And by the way, the goal of taking care of your parents, that capsizes any goal of getting an Omega any day. So good for you.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people think they see you and they're like, oh, he, like you said, you were bringing out the brand and stuff. But for me, I look at your videos as something, you know, oh, he's doing the whole Tom Ford suit from step by step. I want to do something just like that, but I have an idea, and I'm kind of giving you a little secret to what I'm going to do in the future. But I'm going to do the same thing. But I'm going to go with a different company. They're called Indochino, and they have the custom made to measure, same old shenanigans.
Yeah.
And I want to model it after the suit that Bond wore in Skyfall when he was walking through Q Branch and all of that, just because I love the tie and the the pinstripe suit. It looked amazing. And so I'm going to do that. And my goal is to try to do that before I leave to London, because I'm going to study abroad to London this summer, May 28th through June 30th. So I'm going to be there a whole month, educational-wise, and also gives me a little time to go to all the different Bond locations, so I'm super stoked about. I know Peter Brooker said they gave him a ring, and he showed me some cool places too, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, I want to film a video from start to finish, doing, me going to the actual Indochino store, and then talking to the gentleman there, show the pictures of me getting fitted, and the whole shebang. It's not Tom Ford, but yeah, it's a company that it does the same thing, and it's affordable for students like me or for people who aren't able to exactly afford Tom Ford. But it's the whole idea of it. So when you walk out of it, you feel like Bond because you're in a suit that's fitted for you. And I think that's part of one of my little niches I want to get into. Maybe we'll see. But
let me tell you. So we'll keep adding little hints throughout this whole thing, little helpful hints. So one of my helpful hints to you is that always think about when you do a video that it's not so much the object that you're talking about. People want to be a character in your mindset. They want to be another character in the story that you're telling. So to me, I don't think people are dialing in to my videos to say, oh, that's the Tom Ford suit. I mean, they could pull up a picture, a much better picture than what I have. They want to know what the journey is. So it doesn't matter that you're not doing this at Tom Ford. They want to know, what is Chris going through? Like, is he excited? What did he eat in the morning? Did he eat a bowl of Wheaties? Did he poop? Like what? Don't do that part. But that's what they want to know. They want to know details.
Right. And yeah, and that's going to be, one of my most exciting journeys in video is to kind of do a whole, start to finish. It's not going to be done throughout the whole day, obviously, but, I want to be as descriptive as possible. Like from the time I wake up, I'll have a friend with me, obviously, so they can film me driving to the store. They'll film me walking in.
Nice.
And, I'm in contact with one of the guys over there to make sure I can film and all that. And he's okay with being in the video. So I'm excited about that. And just having taking that to London, when I just walk off, I'm gonna look probably the best out there. But yeah, kind of the next question here. What was your most favorite video experience? Like, what was one of your favorite? Either it could be a series or just a single video. What was your favorite one you were able to make and enjoy?
Can I name two?
Sure.
Because one of them is going to be sentimental. I mean, I love any of the videos that I do with my family, my kids especially. I've done some ones with my daughter and I've done some with my son. And those are the most fun just because it's just such an easy conversation. And what comes out is really fascinating to me. Like, obviously, I've known them all their lives because, I helped. But those are the ones like, if all of a sudden YouTube said to me, I'm sorry, David, copyright infringement, we have to erase all your videos. I'd be like, no, like save my family videos. But if I were to focus on a fashion one, I would probably say my favorite one, I really like the review I did on the Tom Ford PTS Spectre suit.
Oh.
So the checked one, the blue checked one that he wears in Mexico City.
Okay.
That was just a fun one to do. And I also had a lot of fun because I did a little vignette in there and it felt so good. It was inside and outside and it all came together really well. And I think it's one of the more popular ones because I think people can feel if you're having fun or not.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed that one too. I mean, any do and all that you do, it's really cool. When I have the notification thing on. So as soon as you do something, I'm like, oh, I want to see it. But yeah, and part of me being motivated to branch out, to have my own Instagram account, because at the very beginning I was nervous. I was like, oh, no one's going to really, notice me. And at first, when I got into it, I was like, I don't really care if they notice me or not. The point of this Instagram is for me to express my enjoyment for Bond, maybe, show people a little bit of my collection or see. And the cool thing is, and everyone's been telling me this, I'm starting at a young age. I'm going to grow and people are going to be able to see my journey as I get older, which I think is pretty cool. They'll be able to see when I get my first Tom Ford suit or when I get my first Omega watch or, and it's going to be really cool. And I'm excited about that part.
Do you watch a YouTuber called Calvin Dyson?
Yes, I do.
Calvin's great. Nicest guy. He's obviously older than you, just turned 30. But what's great is he's been doing it for such a long time. He's doing exactly what you just painted as a story. He will go back and he'll look at himself watching, the trailer from Skyfall and Quantum of Solace and things like that. And as a young boy, being like all giddy and not quite fitting in his tuxedo shirt. And, he winces, but it's also great to watch that journey. I have a similar one. I mean, if you go back to my original one, I was slightly more rounded. I wasn't into the hashtag Bond25 Fitness Challenge. I wasn't into P90X. So even my journey of where I've gone and how I've done interviews and the quality of things, the journey is everything. I mean, that's what you should really enjoy.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be part of my little niche per se, is seeing the story of, I have no idea. And this is going to be one of the questions in a minute of what's going to happen after No Time to Die. But part of it is a little exciting because new stuff's going to come apparently. I mean, obviously, and then be able to go back to Casino Royale or even Goldfinger and reviewing things. If I get a prop or if I get something that's similar to Bond wears. Something like that, being able to go back until we see the new film after No Time to Die is going to be kind of cool for me. And you'll get to see my collection grow again and then just the whole journey grow. But yeah, let's jump into that one. Might as well. We're already here.
Sure.
What do you think's what are your thoughts and what are you looking forward to after No Time to Die?
Nothing. I'm shutting my channel down the day after the movie. Just shutting it down, deleting.
Yeah, I think I might do the same thing, honestly. Yeah.
Let's just all do it together. No, of course not. The wonderful thing about the Bond community is we keep the flag waving with or without a movie. It's great that we have a movie and we get excited around that because we have an excuse to talk about something. We have more content. We have more parties around it, more events. But honestly, like somebody asked me that a couple of weeks ago. They said, what are you going to do after No Time to Die settles down? And I'm like, 2 or 3 videos a week. I'm going to do my Instagrams. Like I'm doing the same thing because I'll show you something, which I never show anybody, but I have a folder. You can see how thick it is. Wow. Of different videos that I want to do. And I mean, it is long. This is just over the next couple months.
Wow.
So I have things that are scheduled. I have interviews. I have clothing items. I mean, what you're seeing right now on the videos is I'm focusing on No Time to Die clothing, but I've got a ton of other stuff after that and collaborations with brands and people I want to meet with and events I want to do. And there is no shortage. So for me, I know some people have literally said, I'm going to take a rest. I'll take it easy, maybe every now and then. And I'm like, no way.
Oh, it's just the beginning, just getting started.
Yeah, because, I mean, think about it. I'm not creating content for a movie. I'm not creating content for a marketing engine. I'm creating a content because I need to create as part of my hobby. I'm a creator. Mm-hmm. If I didn't do this, I'd be building ships and bottles and things like that. I need to create. So that's like saying, well, after the movie's done, are you going to not have that need anymore? Like you had a need. You said, I've got to create something. I don't even know what it's going to be. I don't even know who I'm going to be in the Bond community, but I need to create. So I'm just going to go on YouTube and go for it.
Yeah, that's the plan. I kind of winged it, but that's why
nothing wrong with that.
I'm in aviation right now.
Yeah, very good.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, and one of the things I'm excited for is going to the stores like NPL and all of that, and I want to talk to them and everything. And are they pretty nice about if you tell them, oh, I'm kind of a Bond influencer, I have this page and all of that? Are they pretty nice about opening up and talking to you about stuff? Or
they could not be nicer. They really couldn't. I mean, there are some brands out there that totally embrace that they're a Bond brand. You've got different categories. You've got the ones that embrace it. So NPL, Oliver Brown, Tom Ford. You've got Mason and Sons. You've got, the list is very long. Globetrotter. Mm-hmm. But then you've got brands that kind of don't, like, they're okay about it, but I think they're a short-term okay. They're kind of taking advantage of the movie, and I won't name those. But certainly NPL, for example, if you were to go into an NPL store and say, listen, I'm a Bond fan. First of all, the NPL stores are decorated with Bond stuff. It's fantastic. You can have a drink there. They'll make you a drink. They'll let you look and try on stuff for hours on end and never have to buy anything. Adam's vision around NPL specifically was to create a lounge, an environment that you could walk into and feel and touch everything. Because life is about don't touch, don't feel, don't do this. And he's like, do anything. And so,
Awesome.
yeah, some of the brands really get it. You'll be well treated.
I'm so excited for that. That's one of the. See, I went to London actually. It was my father. He works for the airline, so we're able to have the. We're blessed to go and fly, without having to pay full price. So I went with him on a trip, and it literally was a quick 24-hour layover. So we got there in London around 8 in the morning, and then the next day we had to leave at around 6. So we spent 9 o'clock the first day we got there till 9 o'clock at night, running around. We did all the tourist things. That's when I went to Bonds in Motion. I went to Huntsman on Savile Row because my whole Bond fandom started because of Kingsman. I'd like to say.
Yeah.
I watched Kingsman when it came out on in the movies, the first and second one. And then my parents were like, "Have you ever seen James Bond? This is like a whole spin-off thing of James Bond." I was like, let me check it out. So one night I watched Dr. No because I'm all about starting things from the beginning. I did my research, and it just clicked. But while I was in London, I had to make sure I went to Huntsman because that was what started it all. So I did the whole thing, taking pictures and all that, and I noticed that too. They let me look as long as I wanted, and they let me even try something on and take pictures. It was so nice. I even contacted it because I go to New York a lot because my dad is based in New York.
Oh, good.
So we went to the Huntsman sister store over there, and there's a guy named Michael who is a nice gentleman. You're supposed to be only by appointment only, but he let us in and take as many pictures as we wanted. Tour. Wow. He talked with us for hours, and it was great. And if I had the account back then, I would have totally posted about it. But it is what it is. But,
by the way, the next time you go to New York, that there's a ton of places in New York that are Bond brand related that are very embracing of Bond fans. Let me know the next time you go for sure, because I'll give you, kind of names. You walk in, but probably within walking distance of another, there's, oh my gosh, at least 10 that you should walk into.
Yeah, and I've seen like the videos of you guys going to the launch parties and all that. I was like, that's so cool. Gotta go check them out. But okay, we'll go into kind of the last closing question per se. And you kind of talked about it a lot in your videos, but for those who may have not, it's been a while that they've seen a certain video or whatnot. What would you consider, in your definition, a Bond experience, per se? What is your Bond experience?
Like, what's the definition of a Bond experience?
That, or like, what is your definition of the Bond experience? Whether it's going to do something, or just for everybody to kind of immerse themselves into, I guess,
I think, it's a really good question, but it's so subjective because I think people are under the guise that a Bond experience has to be, dinner on the Queen Mary or, something at the Eiffel Tower, or a launch event. And that is really not true. I mean, I have many more Bond experiences that are simple, little, tiny moments. Putting on a soundtrack in my car, any car, and listening to the Bond music and driving probably a little too fast. That's a Bond experience. Going out to dinner and ordering like Bond, or ordering a dish, or making breakfast in the morning like Bond would, black coffee and yogurt and figs and things like that. To me, the Bond experience are those little moments that add up to these big experiences. Yeah, then you have the giant things like the locations and the brand events and things like that. But those, I mean, for me, as much as you see them in videos, they're very far and few between. But I have 6 or 7 Bond experiences a day. Right. Going downstairs and working out and making sure that I visualize it's important for me to work out is a Bond experience. Because even though he says that in Spectre of like, I work out when I have to. Yeah. F that. You're working out, buddy. Liar. Right. So all those moments, Bond experiences can be super simple, and they can happen to anybody. They can happen to a student. They can happen to a CEO. It doesn't matter. There are no titles around it.
And that's what's great about everything associated with the community and the Bond franchise. I'm a car guy, and I'm not sure. I'm sure you've seen my little classic car. It's a 1961 Hillman Husky, the little green car that I posted about.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I flipped out when I saw it. Seriously.
Yeah, it's not an Aston, but it is British. So yeah.
It's amazing looking.
Originated in England, and
is that yours? Like yours? Like
yeah, it's mine. I got it, and it was technically my first car. I got it as a graduation present, and then I worked on the engine compartment and went through everything with a friend, and he showed me all the parts. I go to shows. I don't drive it as a daily driver now. Back in senior year, I would drive it to school, which I feel like the coolest kid on campus. But but yeah, now I go to shows and all that. And it's really exciting. And I was just wondering, do you take the Aston out to shows or car shows or anything like that, or is it just like one of those weekend drive type of things?
I have a funny car show story with my Aston. So my wife and I went to a they do polo events here, as in horse and pony polo events, and a couple times a year we go. It's really nice. You bring your own wine or champagne, and you sit under a tent, and it's just great fun. So we showed up, and I was driving the Aston because it's kind of our, date car, weekend car. When I love driving it, there's great roads in Pennsylvania to do that. And so we pull up, and literally, it's a British car show with Aston Martins. Nice. So there's a guy, and he's going like this to me, like almost like violently, like move it over. And so I'm like, what the? And I pull over, and I lower the window, and he's like, you need to get a sign to register.
Oh my God.
And, Danielle's just waiting for it. And I'm like, we're just here to see the polo match. The guy just didn't get it. He's like, no, you don't understand. You got to register your car first. And I'm like, I'm literally going in the parking lot with every other car and sitting down and watching polo. So I did. I drove, and a contingency of the Aston guys came over, super nice guys. And they said, hey, listen, I know you didn't want to register, but if you want to park your car next door, it's a beautiful car, you can park it. And I was like, guys, I want to come over and see your cars and oogle and ogle. But honestly, we just came to see the polo match. Again, it was this whole thing of like trying to force fit into a car show. But I love car shows. We go several times a year, not just for the British cars, but just I am a car guy too, like you. Awesome. I love the artistry of it. My Aston Martin, you can watch the video, so you probably know the story. But one of the things I love about my Aston, I have a Porsche Cayman too. Mm-hmm. And the Porsche Cayman rides like a race car. I mean, it hugs the road. Mm-hmm. My Aston Martin, when I sit in it, I am literally transported. I am transported. I could be sitting in the garage in that car, and I think because I've wanted it for so long, and the artistry, the way the butt looks like, and the lines, and the paint and garage lighting, you can see yourself for miles. It takes me away from everything. And that's what I always imagined my dream car would do, is dream car puts you into a dream state.
Yes.
And yeah, so it's still special to us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a goal of every Bond fan to own an Aston, but I love there's guys out to the car show. I try to go every Saturday to a Cars and Coffee event in a city that's next to Sacramento. It's called Folsom. And a lot of the guys up there are lawyers, doctors, and they have their Astons, and they let me go and look and take pictures. I told them about my Bond account. They said, we'd love to be on that. So I have pictures here and there and all that. And they even let me pull up my car next to theirs because it's a British car too. So they let me pull up to theirs. And, I love, one day I will eventually see myself sitting in my own Aston, but like you said, it's more than the name. It's the artistry, the way that the car looks, the way that you see it drive on the road, and it's so cool because I watch Jay Leno videos of all of his reviews on all of the cars, and he says it was a video he did of an Aston Martin. He said, by far, this is the most beautiful car on the road, and there's nothing that compares to it style wise. And
I have a question for you then.
Yeah.
So let's say all of a sudden you won a sweepstakes. It's a James Bond No Time to Die sweepstakes.
Okay.
And the organizers of the sweepstakes say, all right, Chris, congratulations. The winner gets to pick one of any of the Bond cars used in No Time to Die. But it has to be an Aston Martin. Mm-hmm. So you've got a lot to choose from. Which Aston Martin do you choose?
That's hard. Now, see, I think I might go with the Superleggera.
Ooh.
Yes, Superleggera.
Yeah.
Because it's really sleek. And obviously, I would want to get the DB5. But the thing is, with the DB5, I want to get it and do my own thing with it. Like, not my own thing. I want to store it myself. That's a car it's a classic. And when it comes to classics with me, I want to do my own work into it. You can go out and buy $1 million car that's all fresh and ready to go. But if you can't go in the garage and tinker with yourself, could you really consider it your car, I guess? I don't know. For me, I like to tinker with it. So,
and the DB5s in the movie are BMW bodies. They're not even Aston Martins.
Right. So that's another reason why, too.
Yeah.
But the DBS Superleggera, I've seen one in person, and man, those things.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Wow.
For me, the only one thing issue I have with is the front grille. I feel like it's like a giant mouth. They have the same style, but I love the style on like your Aston, where it has the same grille, but it's a little smaller. Just because I think it reminisces the DB5 a little bit better. The Superleggera, I get it. It's the newest car. It's the biggest car the fastest they've had. But that's fine. That's just one tiny minute issue. Other than that, I would get in a second, especially in that colorway. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Wow, that's amazing. Good choice.
Well, again, David, thank you so much for joining me. And I know you showed me yourself the long list of things you got to prepare for there on the book. So I hope, as the future progresses, you and I can have more videos, whether it's, on camera posting wise or just for fun, just wanted to talk about Bond stuff. I would love to, be there for you or whatever you need. I'd love to be a part of it. So,
well, just get yourself to the Northeast, or if I'm on the West Coast, I'll definitely connect. But do you mind if I ask you a question? One more question?
I don't mind. It's all you.
So, what do you want to do with your channel? Like, I know you're doing these kind of conversations, and you did a couple of reviews, but your imagination must be running now.
Yeah. Now that you said the whole idea about doing the whole coast and where I'm from type of thing, that opened up kind of a whole door. Now I got to kind of sit down and think about it. But I want to be able to expand and I think my whole idea is to unite people on this side, whether it's going to locations again, San Francisco wise, and doing a review on the Oliver Brown swim trunks, or going and doing something Bond related on this side. I think my goal is to also implement the fact that I'm a student right now, and I'm going to be for the next 6 years, and incorporate that and show people that even a student can enjoy this Bond lifestyle. A student who is working hard and getting into their goal in life can also implement Bond and the whole aspect of it to their lives, and just also that includes finding deals or going to places like thrift stores where they have the vintage clothing that resembles the movies of the past, and just showing that aspect. So I actually changed my bio for my Instagram account, because I realized after looking at that, it kind of is reminiscent of someone else's bio. But I changed it, and I really like it. And it says, "Welcome, it's that one Bond guy, living the life as a young gentleman, looking through the lenses of James Bond." And
I like that.
I like that, and it took me a while to think of it, because I thought to myself, I want something that incorporates the idea that, yes, I'm a younger guy who is still a student, but also is following the James Bond lifestyle without, copying everyone else's bio. So I thought of that, and I thought it fit really perfect. I just got to put it in my YouTube bio soon. So
you know what you bring to the community, which I think is really strong. The more I hear you talk about it, it's actually we're kind of doing like ideation here. You actually bring an appreciation for whatever point in the journey you're at. So you're a student, you're living in California on the West Coast, you love cars, like all of those things you're starting to wrap together to say, look, I don't need to be a 52-year-old guy in Pennsylvania who's a CEO to enjoy not that that's a bad thing, but you're taking your environment. So guess what? Everybody should look around their environment instead of going like, I can't be a Bond fan because, say, no, this is where I am. It's almost like a you are here, like in the mall, you are here moment. I am here. I'm a student. I'm on the West Coast. I want to be a pilot. I love cars. This is where I am. So I'm going to bring it to the fullest. I mean, you actually could be really an inspiration to a lot of people to appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
That's your hook, man.
It's I'm not going to cry, I promise.
Damn it. It's a Barbara Walters moment. I was trying to make him cry.
Well, I appreciate all the great words. I am going to strive to do, what you gave me the advice for, because that's what I love also, that the Bond community and people have been in it for a while, is and this is what I was kind of looking for in interviews like this, is to kind of help me realize what my niche is. And this one, I think, along with all the other guys that I talked to, have really kind of nailed it down to what I want to do with the channel. So I thank you so much. And from this point on, whatever happens, all the new stuff, I owe it to all you guys for helping me get to all of this, to this place. So
except for Joe Darlington, who gave you nothing but bad advice. It's disappointing, I know.
And oh my God, when I saw him spray your car, I was like, there's nothing. That's
how I felt.
All right, you have no idea that. But yeah, on a serious note, thank you for everything. Whether it's the small advice or the big videos that you do, I appreciate everything, and I thank you. And I can't wait for what the future has in store. I heard, in the future you guys want to be doing more events, so I really want to be able to possibly be a part of it. I was really going to try to go to Toronto to the Skyfall because I love, another thing is I love music and I love the orchestra and hearing it live, especially James Bond scores. And that was something that was perfect. It's just I heard about it a little bit too late. I already was starting to save for my study abroad trip. So I was like, I need to keep my priorities straight.
Oh, sure.
For my study abroad, because that's important. It's not only Bond related, but it's educational. But yeah, I want to be able to join you guys again for something similar to like Operation Gatherall or something like that coming up soon. So
we always have things in the summer too, and you'll be back from London then. So yeah, just keep watching, because I think we're now really, other than the brand stuff, like the Gatherall thing was such a huge success. I mean, we expected 20 people and we had 50, and those are the types of things that we want to do more of. So we'll definitely do a summertime one, and just hop on a plane, man. That's all you got to do.
That's literally all I got to do. I just got to figure out places to stay. And literally the only problem is, the thing that prevented me from going to Gatherall was finding a place to stay. And that was the only thing. But I can, I got to just research it ahead of time and I'll find it. But
yeah.
Thank you again so much for the time. It's been almost 45 minutes I took of your precious time that you have filming and all that.
Happy to do it.
Appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you again in the near future. And it's been great, my friend. Thank you so much, David.
You are very welcome.
And I will hear from you soon, all right?
Take care.